What's up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. In this video here, I want to talk about something that I recently just accomplished during this most recent CVC, and that is obtain probably one of the hardest badges you could possibly obtain in this entire game. Now, what I am about to show you guys is not for the faint of heart. It is basically for Krakens only, or for the biggest hoarders in the game to tackle. And I'm talking about the mythical, fabled 5 million point CVC badge. I got this yesterday during CVC and it was a crazy ride. And in this video here, we're going to break down exactly what I had to do to get this badge, guys. That's 5 million points in a single CVC, not cumulative, not lifetime, in one CVC, guys. But first, I want you guys in the comments below to list what type of things I had to do to get this 5 million points during a single CVC. Where did the majority come from? Which area was I most active in, for example? And you guys can give me a guess on how much resources I had to spend. Let me know in the comments below. The numbers will discuss and shock some of you guys, I'm sure. All right, so let's jump into it. So first of all, the CVC, results are still here. This is my clan. Wrathful Pandas, this is where my main account has been for the last, I would say, I don't remember, I say 3 years now. But I've been in this clan for, 3 years. A lot of ups and downs, and it's a really end game clan. It is, I believe, rank 30 something, 32. Rank 32 in terms of player power, but we're definitely very high ranking in any competitive aspect in this game. Obviously, if you're a really strong player, really strong account, definitely check out, obviously the Panda cluster and obviously the Wrathful Pandas if you guys are interested in a end game clan. Love these guys. Like I said, been with them for many years. And yeah, so this is the CVC breakdown. We had this really tough matchup here against this Russian clan 3. I guess this is the Pi number 3.14. They have 102 trophies as well. Very strong clan. And we were basically within about 2 mil of each other until about 15 or 16. And then I decided, okay, you know what? I did some preliminary math on the resources that I had, and I can make this happen. And at that point, it wasn't clear if we were going to win this CVC. So I figured this is probably going to be the best time to put the points in, because I want to distance ourselves from this other clan so that they don't come and chase us for the next 24 hours. So that's when I decided to start laying down the hammer. Now, in the end, it was a very lopsided win, because at some point they were about 5 or 6 million behind, and then they basically took their foot off the gas and then waved the white flag. And then the rest of our Panda clan basically just put the pedal to the metal, and then we went for the 3-0 win on them. You can see here on the leaderboards, we are actually ended up first overall in terms of overall points. I never actually thought I would ever be in a clan to do this, because CVC is not something that I'm really into. It's not worth the resources spent at all. But I mean, if you're going to do it once, you might as well do it. Say you've done it, get the badge, move on, have a good story to tell. So here we are. And it's kind of cool that I get a chance to document all of this, right? Anyways, you guys can take a quick look here at the point breakdown between the two clans. Obviously, a huge difference here for the champion objectives. This is the book part. This is the leveling part, ascensions and all that stuff. Huge difference in the Sand Devil. That's where a lot of the points, where it's clan versus clan. And then everything else seems relatively the same. Gear objectives, also a pretty big gap there as well. Just a quick rundown, the member list. You can kind of see here we had several members already over 1 million. And then some over 2 million. And of course, their clan is no slouch as well. Many well over the 400K mark. So yeah, it is very competitive, very top end clan. 21 mil should be able to beat, 99% of clans, but not today. Not today, guys. All right, let's do the breakdown for my 5 million points. And we're going to go through them one by one. And we're going to start with the lowest point totals first. All right, so first things first here, I have it all laid out in a nice spreadsheet for you guys. Took a bit of time today just to break it all down. So first things first, we have the Demon Lord. I pull 8 chests per day. We did it for 3 days. So that's 3,580 points. Now, I'm going to make some mistakes along the way, but I did the best I could in terms of finding the most realistic amount of numbers. I will point out certain areas where I took a bit more of a wider guess, but these are pretty much set in stone. For example, like Demon Lord. This is the next line will be obviously the classic arena. Classic arena. I'm basically doing about 60 fights at 80 points each, and that's going to give us 4,800 points. This is over the entire duration of the CVC, by the way, guys. And then after that, we have Iron Twins. Iron Twins, we're doing 6 clears per day, level 15. And that's going to give us 7,200 points. Also, keep in mind that I don't remember which area gave us the double points. So there's going to be, potentially a couple areas where there's going to be double points. All right. So after the Iron Twins, we jump into live arena. So live arena, we do all our 10 battles every day. Our win rate's about 75%, 70%. I don't remember exactly what the win rate was over the last 3 days, but my season win rate is about 70%. So we gave ourselves a 70% win rate, which gives us a total of 7,350 points based on a 350 point per win math formula. Now, these first 4 areas, Demon Lord, Arena, Iron Twins, Live Arena, they're pretty much set in stone. You kind of know exactly what kind of values you're going to be getting. There could be some misses here or there. Like, for example, Classic Arena, maybe I lost a fight, so I don't get the 80 points. Or maybe in Live Arena, maybe my win rate in the last 3 days was really poor, for example. But these are like as close to approximations as I could get. Now, the next spot here is going to be something that you guys might not think about. Glyphs. So glyphs, guys, is actually super insane. I probably used, no joke, probably about 200 5-star or better glyphs. So if you guys don't know, the 5-star glyphs, they give you 100 CBC point each. And then the point total that you get for the 6-star and beyond, so 6-star, rare, 6-star epic, 6-star legendary, the points grow significantly. But for the purposes of this math here, we're just going to use rank 5. And I don't know exactly how many glyphs I use, but I'm literally, I used a lot. I have a lot of glyphs saved up. So I'm estimating that I probably used about 200 glyphs. And that's just an approximation. So that's going to give us 20,000 points just in glyphs alone. Keep in mind that each one of these glyphs cost 50,000 silver to use. It's actually wild. It costs this much, 50,000 per. And I'm guessing 200. I'm guessing 200 here, guys. So it's a bit of an estimate, but I'm explaining the theory with how I came to the number. Now, up next, we have faction wars. So faction wars here, they vary, but for the most part, I'm in this range, 16 to 20. Sometimes I clear 21 on some stages, but some stages I clear maybe like 13 or 14 around there. So I gave myself the average, which is between 16 and 20. They each have a different point allocation. So 6 clears per day. And then we're doing 1,800 points for this level. And then we're doing 3 days worth of it. And that's going to give us 32,400 points. I guess I'll show you guys the formula if you guys are interested in checking the math as well. But yeah, faction wars. If you guys are doing faction wars, you guys are, queuing into these points every CVC, of course. Obviously, before CVC starts, you guys should, hold off on doing faction wars the day before so that you can save them for CVC. Easy couple of thousand points there. After faction wars, we're talking gems. And this is the big one here where I asked you guys to guess how many resources I actually used. So gems, I started CVC with 49,677, and I ended CVC with 16,438. This doesn't include gems that I accumulated during, CVC, right? Obviously, that's very hard to figure out, so I just didn't even bother. So that means my total spending gems from the start of CVC to the end of CVC, not including gems that I acquired, we can kind of guesstimate how many gems I acquired in 3 days. Probably a couple hundred, maybe maximum. But I spent a total of 33,239 gems, guys. Now, needless to say, That is a ton of gems. So many gems that it's worth 33,000 CVC points because we actually get 1 point per gem that we use. It's an astonishing number. Like I said, guys, some of these numbers will shock and disgust you. Moving on to the next big point getter here, mythical books. So, as you guys may know, I don't have a lot of mythicals, and the ones that I do, I don't even fully book them unless I plan to use them heavily. Like, for example, I have Aphidus. He's a good champ. I use him in Faction Wars hard mode, but I don't really book him out because he's not my full-time champ. And even on some of my full-time champs, I try not to book out, one side if I don't have to. Carnage, Empress, I figured they are literally my full-time champs, so I book out both sides. But for somebody like the chicken, like Galeus, for example, I don't book out his first form. Garrow, same thing. I don't book out the first form. Now, in this CVC, I did spend 10 mythical books. So I started CVC with 51 mythical books. Now I have 41 mythical books. And yeah, we did book out the front side on 2 of these champions. And mythical books give you 4,000 points per book, and they cost 12,000 silver each one you use. That's going to give us a total of 40,000 points towards CVC from those 10 mythical books. Obviously, a big way to get CVC points is saving your books for CVC. Obviously, this was no different. Now, after mythical books, the next big point getter is Tag Team Arena, guys. Tag Team Arena. We got first place in our tournament at the end of, at the start of CVC, it just opened. And then at the end of it, we're currently in first place. We did about 140 tokens, which is 14 bags over 3 days or so. Each win gets us 760 points because we're in gold 4. Therefore, giving us a grand total of 106,400 CVC points from 3 days worth of tag team. Now, Tag Team Arena is extremely efficient in terms of CVC points per energy. It's just, you just can't get too much of it because first of all, it's slow because you have to wait for refreshes unless your account is crazy strong where you don't care who you're fighting. You're just clicking any team you see. That's not the case for me. I have to look for the one-man teams, which take time refreshing the arena. But we still got through about 14 bags. So that's going to be worth 106,000 points. After that, after tag team in terms of overall points is the dungeons. So we were working on the Fire Knight dungeons because they were lined up with the fusion. So we spammed Fire Knight as soon as it was open, and then we ended up getting 4,844 points for the Gear Hunters, which translates with a points per energy average of 0.6695 for hard 10 because that's what we were doing. It translates into 181 super raids. 181 super raids means we spent 7,235 energy. And that's going to give us a total of 144,705 CVC points. Now, on a regular day, if you're spending 7,000 energy on a CVC, that's going to give you a good chunk of points. And then you're probably going to hit 400K pretty easily, no sweat. But on this day, even though I spent 7,000 energy and almost cleared the Dungeon Diver was the Gear Hunter, was only 5,000 total points. But on this day, it barely makes a dent. It's only 144,000 points towards CVC, towards the 5 million goal post, right? So it's pretty crazy. If you're wondering, this is for hard 10. So hard 10 is about 60, 0.67 points per energy. If you're doing dungeon 20, for example, it's a bit more efficient. It's like 0.7. So it's a bit more efficient, like 6% or something. Actually, more closer to 10%, but yeah, around there, 6 to 8%, somewhere around there. Up next, after the next big point getter after dungeons is the Forge. Now, we started the CVC with about 5,000 Magi Steel. This is about what we can acquire if you're really diligent farming Classic Arena for the month. So yeah, about 5,000 Magi Steel. This is a bit of an estimate on my side because it's just something I didn't record. We use all the high quality charms. So that means we were using all of the, all the big charms, rank charms, rarity charms, for example. And we were just spamming, the perception gear, the resilience gear, all the trash that we would basically instant sell unless it was legendary plus with like a speed substat roll or something like that. It's a bit hard to give a average value to what each craft is worth in terms of overall points. I listed out the point breakdown here for the 6 and 5 star crafts. You know, 50 is a 6-star rare gives you 50, 6-star epic gives you 100 points, 6-star legendary gives you 500, and 6-star mythical gives you 1000 points. And then the same for the 5-star rank, 20, 50, 200, and 40. You see the gap is very wide, so the variance can be quite high. So basically for every 10 pull, I'm giving it about 1750 points. That might be on the high side, to be honest. It might be closer to like 1500 points. But I gave it 1750 points. So that gives us a total of 1000 crafts, and it's gonna give us 175,000 points. Each craft takes 5 Magi Steel. So you can kind of see here a lot of CVC points comes out of the forge if you hold on to stuff and wait for CVC to craft it all. After that, guys, the next point getter was Ascension. So this is the gear ascensions that I'm talking about, basically going all the way up for the purple stars for all your gear. I spent an estimate of 5,000 big oils. Now, this is basically spending oils, accumulating oils, and then using the oil converter to convert oil into more big oils and spending that as well. You get 1,850 points for a fully maxed ascended piece of 6-star gear. Now, obviously, not all my gear is 6 stars, and not all of them were fully maxed. Some of them maybe had 1 star or 2 star, and then I maxed them out. But 1,850 is the maximum. And we did 5,000 oils. Each piece of gear takes, I believe, 50 big oils to max out. So this is kind of how we did the conversion here. We did 1,000 crafts at the maximum points per craft. This is just an estimate. I'm pretty sure I messed up the math here. It very well could be slightly less CVC points, but we got an estimate of 185,000 points here from the Ascensions alone. Moving on to the next big point getter is going to be gear enhancement. Gear enhancement here, 1,890 points from going from 0 to 16 on every piece of item. At this point, I needed points. And yeah, I was just, leveling up gear that I would never use, leveling up gear that maybe looked okay. Maybe they had like double rolls and crit rate, double rolls and speed, triple roll, and then I'm like leveling bad sets and stuff. Very much just throwing away resources at this point. But I mean, it does increase, the gear quality on your account. So it's not fully wasted, but at this point, this is just spending silver that I didn't have to spend, obviously. The way I did the math here is I allocated 2 million silver per item. Obviously, some will be more, some will be less. And this is an average between artifacts and accessories. Accessories you're going to pay more, very likely, but I didn't actually max out a lot of accessories. And I'll show you guys this silver breakdown in a bit, but this is based on how much silver we actually spent. And that is a total of, I'll surprise you guys in a bit, but the total point breakdown here is 281,000 points based on my best guess for gear enhancement. And this is based on how much silver we actually spent in this event. All right, so here are the big point getters, guys. Legendary books. This number is going to blow you away because I spent about 200 legendary books in this CVC. 200, guys. Obviously, I'm a content creator. I have a lot of perks. These perks I've saved up for a while. And here we go. We got the legendary books coming in at 200. Each one of these books is worth 3,000 points, and that's going to give us a total of 600,000 points. Each one of these books also costs 12,000 silver to use, so keep that in mind as well. Next up on our big point getter list, epic books, guys. Epic books. Again, I'm a content creator. These are resources that I just save up and accumulate because I just save them up. I don't use them for anything really in the game. I have more than enough just farming the game normally. So these creator perks, I just hold on to and hoard. In this case, I guess I used them towards the 5 mil badge, but otherwise they were just sitting on my account. And at the end of this video, I'll show you guys exactly what my account looks like after getting nuked with 5 mil CVC points. But here we spent approximately 1,100 epic books. 1,150 sounds about right based on my starting and ending for the epic books. Again, a bit of an estimate, but it should be, within 95% reasonable accuracy. 1,000 points per book. It costs 8,000 silver to use a book. And that's going to give us a total of 1.15 million CVC points just from epic books alone, guys. It's a completely absurd amount of reading. It's crazy. And then lastly, the biggest point getter for this event for me was no surprise, right? Sand Devil. Sand Devil here was the biggest point getter for me, attributing to over 40% of the total points that I needed to get the 5 million badge. Sand Devil just makes the most sense for me. It's an 12-second run for me. And you get, 800 points for 40 energy. So 20 CVC points per energy. We scored 322,000 points in our Sand Devil tournament. Good enough to win our tournament. And it was good enough for second place in the Sand Devil leaderboards. Unfortunately, we did not win the global leaderboard. Somebody was even crazier for their Sand Devil spending. But yeah, we got second place, the most expensive 2 epic books for second place you could ever ask for. But yeah, there we go. We spent 2,702 super raids in Sand Devil. And total energy spent, again, approximation based on the amount of points that we got in the tournament, 108,000 points, which gives us a total of 2.161 million CVC points from the Sand Devil. Now, I've seen people do this challenge with Spider. Doing Spider could be faster. I think maybe 6 or 7 seconds could be faster. But the big thing about Spider versus Sand Devil is that Spider is going to generate a lot of silver for you, whereas Sand Devil does not generate a lot of silver for you. So for myself, thankfully, I have a ton of silver on my account, so I'm not starved for silver at all. Otherwise, the next little bit of info here that I'm going to share with you guys might actually shock you guys and might actually make you guys think a little bit harder about which dungeon stage you guys really should be spending your energy on. But we actually did a full silver breakdown here, just because I needed to figure out how much or how to formulate a theory to figure out the math on the gear enhancement stuff. So the only way to do that was basically reverse engineer the math on how much silver I made and how much silver I actually spent. So in Sand Devil, for one super raid, you actually only get about 23,000 points. That's very little. This is for 40 energy. So if you spent the same 40 energy in Spider, not only do you get this amount of silver, the biggest difference is you get the accessory to sell, and the accessory is actually worth a lot. So you're probably getting 5 or 6 times more silver by doing Spider instead of Sand Devil. It's actually pretty significant. So I spent over 100,000 energy in the Sand Devil, and I got only 62 million silver from that. It's actually very, very low. If you were to do Spider, I wouldn't be surprised if you got 350 million from the same amount of energy just from selling the accessory. So up next with the silver from the dungeon diver portion, we spent about 7,000 energy, 181 super raids, and for this math, we basically assume that we sold most of the gear. We're allocating 75,000 per run, which is including a small bit of silver that you make per run with the gear that is being sold. So, allocating that, about 27 million made from all that dungeon farming. Silver from the forge. This one's a little bit more tricky. We're just assuming we crafted 1,000 pieces and we're selling them at about 60,000 each. Obviously there's a wide range of how much they cost, but 60,000 seems like a reasonable middle ground. So we're allocating 60 million silver earned from all of the stuff sold from the forge. And then lastly, I don't know how many gear cleanses I did, because when the Sand Devil's running in the background, there's only so much things you can do. So I did 4 gear cleanses on my entire account. So I probably made somewhere around 40 million. That's just a guess. It could be 30 million, but just a guess there. So the total silver I earned during this CVC, I earned just shy of 190 million. That's just, an approximation, but it's probably pretty close. I did have, some confirmation on what I was starting with. I started with 2.94 billion silver. I earned 190 million silver during CVC. The booking cost just shy of 12 million silver. Can you imagine spending 12 million silver just booking your champions? That's how much silver I spending on books. Okay, now here's another one. Can you imagine spending 10 million silver just using glyphs? That's how much silver I used during the CVC based on 200 glyphs used. Now, can you imagine spending 30 million silver converting your oil? Just converting your oil. Just converting your oil. So I spent about 30 million silver just converting oil. Now the net of that is just shy of 3 billion silver. Um, 3.07. But my ending balance, we know this, is 2.78 billion silver. So that leaves a gap of just shy of 300 million silver. And the only area where we didn't allocate the cost was gear enhancement. So during CVC, I spent approximately 300 million silver enhancing gear, rolling gear up to 16 or whatever. And that's where we got our gear enhancement point total. Something else that might interest you guys is that from all that Sand Devil farming, I actually earned about 48 sacred shards. So not all of it's going to be from Sand Devil. Obviously, I picked up a couple from Clan Boss. But yeah, there was a difference of 48 ancient shards. 48 ancient shards from the start of CVC to the end of CVC. So I started with 116 and I ended with 164. 48 extra ancient shards showed up in my account. I just did a small breakdown here. One energy in this CVC was worth 20 CVC points. One gem was worth 66 CVC points. However, if you spend one gem on the first bag of Tag Team Arena in Gold 4, each one of those gems is worth 508 points. That's how efficient Tag Team Arena is in terms of points per gem compared to just regular energy spending. But you just can't keep up that pace, right? Now, in terms of the grand totals here, total gems spent, 33,000 gems. Total energy spent, just over 115,000 energy. Total CVC points, 4.951. This probably is off by a little bit because there is the extra 2x points somewhere. So I think that's going to be like, I don't know how many 2x categories there was. Maybe there's 3, and then that gives us the extra 60,000 points that we're shy of. Again, a lot of these are just approximations anyways, but it just gives you a crazy idea of what it actually takes to get 5 million points in CVC. I would say most people, I would say probably everybody does not have the same amount of books that I used during the CVC. So they would probably offset that by spending more energy. Now, the biggest thing about that is that you need time to spend that energy. So if you don't have a very fast team, you're actually going to run out of time. So in hindsight, I could have if I had more time, I could have spent most of the energy in Sand Devil and then spend most of the energy in Fire Knight so that I can win the Fire Knight tournament, for example. But instead, I was going to run out of time, so I just decided to spend all my energy in the Sand Devil, which was way faster, and we had an active tournament going on with it. All right, guys, so I hope that was interesting for you guys. I'll go over some of the account details here real quick, just for record's sake. You can kind of see here my shards. Didn't really use any shards at all. I pulled a couple mystery shards for the dailies. The ancient shards went up. No difference in the sacred shards, of course, unless they're from Clan Boss. I didn't level anybody up. I did a couple 6-star ascensions here, but honestly, it's just like 1 or 2. I think I leveled up 1 champion to 60, maybe. And then in terms of books, this is how much books we have left. Yeah, I had a lot. I had a lot saved up. And you can kind of see my silver total and my gem total definitely took a hit to do all this stuff. You check out the forge. I have nothing left, obviously. And then you guys can check out my stash, like my gear stash. Basically, everything is 12 or 16. And there's a lot of 16s, a lot of new 16s in this stash now. It was, bursting at 2,000 now. Another crazy amount of stuff here would be the ascension materials. The ascension materials got a crazy amount of stuff. So if you use the oil mixer, it costs a lot. Look at this. It costs a lot of silver, guys, to burn this through. It costs a lot of silver. Easy to burn this through, guys. So yeah, I spent 30 million just burning oils here. And then this was near the end when I didn't have to ascend any more stuff, and I just accumulated just by farming, just farming stuff. So, this is probably gonna last me like forever. So there's that. What else? Let's show you guys the glyphs. So in terms of total glyphs here, I still have hundreds and hundreds of glyphs. Obviously, I used up quite a bit of the 5-star plus glyphs. Wherever I could, I was popping the 6 stars in and there. But I did want to save some of the bigger ones, like the 6 star rare, epic, and legendary ones. I'm still more choosy with those ones, but I definitely was more liberal using the 5 star ones on lots of different champions. So a lot of them have way better glyphed up stats after the CVC. Another interesting stat is that my personal account player power shot up about 1.5 million after CVC. So that's the amount of stats that I added on my champions during CVC. And I think I built like maybe like 1 or 2 champions, but yeah, it's just a crazy amount of stats. I didn't pull any blessings or anything like that. There's like no big windfall of, I didn't like pull any fragments. I didn't pull any fragment champions. I didn't pull any shards. I didn't pull any big blessings or anything like that. So that wasn't, that wasn't part of the equation for me. And did I show you guys the dust? Okay, so yeah, so dust. I have 915 dust. I don't know how much dust I made from the Sand Devil. I think maybe I made like 800 or something. Maybe I made 900. I don't know. I don't think I spent 100. Maybe I did spend 100 during CVC, but somewhere around 8 or 900 total dust. That's the amount that I made. And I guess we'll end it off with a couple screenshots here. So you can kind of see here, this is the global leaderboard for the Sand Devil. Yeah, somebody was so crazy. They did 544,000 points. I was second place. Like I said, we got 2 epic books for our trouble. Unfortunately, we'll have to find another global leaderboard to win to get the badge. But there we go. And then this image here shows 20,000 energy spent on the Sand Devil, 500 super raids. It gives you 400k points right away. So there you go, a one-stop shop to get 400k points. Super easy, obviously. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, 20,000 points, 20,000 energy, spent here, 6,040 gems. You only net 11 million silver. I find that very, very low, obviously. So if you're hurting for silver, don't farm the Sand Devil. That makes sense. You have no gear to sell. We got 180 of these dust. Look at this amount. Like, it's so crazy that we only get so little from it. We got 9 ancient shards here, and then you can kind of see the potion breakdown there. I just thought it was kind of curious because I've never actually ran so much Sand Devil before, so it's interesting to see, the actual breakdown of what it actually looks like from all those resources. And another crazy thing is that I spent a lot of the time on the CVC on my phone, actually. So I spent about 2,500 or 2,000 multi-battles. And that was on my phone. So that was pretty crazy as well. So I was basically, online or playing raid basically all day. And that's what you need to actually get 5 million points. You need a lot of time on your hands too, right? You have to be constantly playing, or raid has to be constantly running because it takes so much time to accumulate. And you saw that most of the points do come from energy related things. And that's going to take time for you to burn through and get those points. All right, guys, I think we're going to end it off here. Thank you guys so much for watching until the end. I really appreciate you guys coming along on this video with me to celebrate this kind of achievement. Hope you guys enjoyed the point breakdown on everything. I know some of the numbers are just absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, this is basically complete Kraken territory. I wouldn't say it's impossible for somebody free to play to do this without any kind of creator perks. Obviously, my creator perks help me massively. But I would say that if somebody were to do this to their account, it would literally take years of saving, and you could literally just damage your account to the point of no return. You guys can kind of tell from my account that there's still plenty of stuff going on. I didn't use any critical resources like fusions, fragment summons. I didn't use any shards. I have plenty of books, plenty of resources, still plenty of energy to handle any kind of event thrown my way. But I think for somebody to do this without having money to replenish resources, it would be definitely very, 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 very risky, and I don't recommend it for anybody. But I don't know. I mean, we play the game for fun, and we only get to do this once, and I'm never going to do it again, of course. And it was during a pretty critical CVC where we needed the point push to beat a very tough opponent. So I felt it was a good time just to do this and get this done. It wasn't really something that I had planned in mind, but it did feel like the right time to do it. Anyways, guys, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching until the end. I appreciate you guys. If you guys enjoyed this content, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Share it with your friends. Thanks for watching until the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one.